Pirate I Was Dug Up by Robin, Chapter 461 to 480. Chapter 461 Beat Blackbeard one after another. Open black lens bracket 1/4 for subscription close black lens bracket. Dilapidated Swire venue. Ziahahaha, the beasts, don't be so hostile. I just suggested that you can really consider it. Blackbeard Teach, who maintained the shape of a black dragon, laughed proudly. Shut up. You are nothing but want to be our captain. We are the beast pirates. Don't underestimate us. You don't even spare the body of Captain Kaido, we will definitely cut you to pieces. ... The angry roars of the beast pirates were one after another. The terrifying and ferocious aura that filled the air made Shichibukai Moria unconsciously retreat. As for the fighting champion Jesus Burgess III, his whole body was already wet with cold sweat. Then I'll ask you one last time, Flame Calamity of Beasts, do you want to join my team and become my partner? Shenlong Teach sent an invitation to Fire Bane alone. What responded to him was still the flying kick of the pterosaur. Only this time, Blackbeard, who had been prepared for a long time, blocked Jin's attack with a powerful dragon tail swing. At the same time, Blackbeard's dragon mouth suddenly lit up with a dazzling flame of light. Bastard, what are you doing? Don't you think? Seeing the familiar scene in the mouth of the black dragon, the pirate group of the beasts all changed in shock. Everyone, spread out. Yan Zonjin widened his eyes in shock and roared loudly. The high-pitched dragon roar of Aang resounded through the sea. The terrifying scorching dragon breath spurted out of Blackbeard's bloody mouth and fell into the army of beasts. Boom! In the violent roar, the already crumbling island trembled violently. Ah ah ah! The screams of the beast pirates came one after another. Just one hit. At least 200 beast pirates were killed by the power of the dragon's breath. As the first result, it's not bad, ziahahaha. Blackbeard laughed proudly. Just then, a bright line of fire suddenly crossed in the direction of the sea in the distance. Fire Fist. A roar full of anger came from above the sky. The surging flames covered the sky. In the end, it turned into a huge flaming fist and landed on the self-satisfied, defenseless Blackbeard. Boom! In the roar, Blackbeard's 100-meter-long dragon body flew upside down. The scorching flames of Bear quickly spread throughout his body. Captain Teach. Watching this scene, all three of the Blackbeards Van Augur couldn't help but shouted. It's so hot. It's hot, hot, hot. The 100-meter-long dragon rolls on the broken island like earthworms. After half a minute, the raging fire was finally put out. Shenlong Teach let out a long breath. His ruthless gaze fell on the flames in the sky. A skull and crossbones symbol suddenly lit up in the flames that enveloped the sky. 2. Blackbeard, because that's where he's spent most of his life. Thief. Ziahahaha, Captain Ace, you are here, the opportunity is rare. Captain Ace, do you want to be my partner? Blackbeard laughed and invited. Teach. Ace appeared in the blazing fire, but there was a volcanic anger beneath his calm face. Captain Ace, how is it? My new form is very handsome. Blackbeard wiggled his dragon body in a showy manner. Blackbeard, who was overwhelmed again, didn't notice that in the blind spot of his vision, someone else was approaching rapidly. Captain Teach, behind you. Fighting champion Jesus Burgess screamed and reminded. What? Blackbeard was still ignorant. Teach. Blackbeard. Asshole Teach. Several roars that were also full of anger suddenly sounded from behind Blackbeard, causing him to lose his face in shock. It seems like it's too late to want. Drink. The flying kick of the phoenix is fleeting. 5,000 tile fists. Fishman Jinbei's heavy punch also followed. It was followed by the fist of the Ranger Doma and the slash of Laken Makugai. Me too, Rubber, Elephant Fist. In that case, Dragon Claw Fist. Even if Ace strongly urged them not to interfere. At this point, how can Straw Hat Luffy and Sabo hold back? He gave a big move to the black beard in the form of the dragon. Under the joint attack of the 6 powerhouses. Blackbeard, who had just acquired the power of the dragon, was hit hard. The dragon's mouth opened wide, and a mouthful of blood was coughed up. Boom! Shenlong Teach's huge dragon body of more than 100 meters flew out like a cannonball, and finally fell heavily to the ground. Captain Teach. Fighting Champion Trio 3 looked terrified, and hurriedly ran to the place where Blackbeard flew upside down. Sabo, Luffy, didn't I say, Teach is a traitor of our Whitebeard pirates, we must solve it by ourselves. Ashto. Ha ha ha. Sorry. Sabo and Luffy laughed together. Alas. Ace shook his head, naturally he wouldn't really blame the brothers. It's not time to relax, that bastard Teach is still alive. In the sky, Marco shouted a reminder. Ziahahaha, isn't it a matter of course, Captain Marco, I'm the strongest creature after Kaido for now. Rubble, Blackbeard's laughter came out as if nothing had happened. Chapter 462 Another Gorosei, 5 Elders, now. Open black lens bracket 2/4 for full order close black lens bracket. Bang, the rocks pierced through the air, and the waves crashed on the shore. Teach, who was sent hundreds of meters away by the joint attack of Marco, Jinbei and other 6 powerhouses, rose from the rubble. Even if he vomited blood from the attack of the crowd earlier, he almost rolled his eyes. However, it is now back to normal. Not the slightest wound could be seen all over the body. The abnormal defense and recovery power of the dragon fruit can be seen. Ziahahaha. Black Dragon Teach's body more than 100 meters long swims in the sky. Eudemon's dragon, this is one of the best abilities. After confirming that he had indeed recovered, the smug look on Blackbeard's face suddenly increased. Damn, the scales are even harder than steel. Ranger Doma growled unwillingly. What a monster-like body that is. Lei Ching Makugai's face was shocked. The strongest creature after Kaido, given time, maybe it's really not impossible. Jinbei's face was also extremely solemn. Ziahaha, Captain Ace, Captain Marco, Jinbei, Doma, and Makugai are also there, which is a coincidence. Blackbeard grinned. Then let me ask again, after seeing my new form, Captain Marco, do you want to consider joining my team and becoming my partner? Black Dragon Teach asked in a whimsical way. Teach, I also want to ask you, how do you want to die today? Ace took a sharp step, and flames blazed around him. Thatch's resentment before his death can only be washed away with your blood. Marco also stopped drinking coldly. Ziahahaha, it seems there is no way out, so let the captain see something interesting. Black Dragon Teach treacherous Isho. Next second. The deep darkness is like a hanging galaxy, pouring down from his huge dragon body. Be careful. Boom, kakaka, boom, the sky is broken and restored. The endless sea split open into huge ravines under the cutting of sword energy. This is the sky battlefield of Luo Lin and the swordsman and warrior Lao Xing. I really saw something interesting happen today. Masked Samurai Old Star appears. Even though his clothes were tattered and his body was covered in blood. A loose expression on the face of the sword-wielding Samurai Old Star. Roland bastard, a freak like you has appeared. Hee hee. Roland hee hee Isho. You don't look too surprised. Sword-wielding warrior Lao Xingdao. Since just now, I have been running around like a mouse, and I haven't seen you for so many years. You, this old guy, have really lost a lot of courage. Rollins laughed sarcastically. Of course, what this old man is best at is speed. 36 years ago, I was easily defeated by you because I didn't take advantage of this advantage. How could this old man make the same mistake this time? The way of the sword-wielding samurai Old Star. Hee hee, I said that you don't want to delay time and wait for someone to come to help. If you are really afraid, you have been hiding in the Holy Land, waiting for me to take the initiative to kill it again. Roland said with a kind expression on his face. What an arrogant brat. The sword-wielding warrior Lao Xing's eyes were slightly cold. But there's one thing, you're right. I'm right, my task today is indeed to hold you back. In order to fight against the Wachung organization established by our government, I don't know how you would feel if it were destroyed. Old guy, shouldn't you? Roland's eyes narrowed gradually. Just as you think. The corner of the sword-wielding warrior Lao Xing raised a successful smile. Ding! The sky in the distance suddenly lit up with a little light, like a meteor, falling straight towards Wachung. At the same time, Wachung Plaza witnessed the strange changes that happened to Blackbeard at the Taiku venue. The people in the square were all in chaos. What the hell is going on? How on earth did Blackbeard get Kaido's dragon power? Furthermore, I have seen his information, that Blackbeard should already be a capable person. In other words, does he have two devil fruit abilities at the same time? This is simply unreasonable, it breaks the basic rules of devil fruit. When Vice Admiral Momonga, Smoker and other active Marines let the school's screens fall, the shock on people's faces suddenly became even more intense. Compared with the shock and uproar of young people, the veterans in the field were unusually silent at the moment. Because in their cognition, the Blackbeard in front of them is not the first man to break the basic laws of devil fruit. Decades before him, someone had broken it, but it had never been announced. Only those closest to them know. Big Brother Garp, what the hell is going on with that Blackbeard boy? When I was at Roger's, I thought that boy was abnormal. The old man Mu Lien asked. You ask me, how do I know? Garp gave Mu Lien a sidelong glance. It doesn't matter. What's going on? Blackbeard must not stay today. If he is allowed to develop, he will inevitably become a more troublesome existence than Kaido, and the threat must be stifled in the cradle today. Zephyr's murderous way. Yes. Mr. Zephyr is right. Can't give him a chance to grow. The veterans agreed, and they were eager to try. Wait, what's coming? Just before the veterans make a move, Garp shouted suddenly and solemnly, and looked up suddenly. Listening to Garp's roar, Zephyr and the others also raised their heads subconsciously. A little golden light appeared in their field of vision, dazzling than the sun, constantly expanding in their pupils. What is that? Meteor. Not right. Garp yelled again. That's the enemy. Chapter 463 Give it your all. Garp angry iron fist. Open black lens bracket 3/4 close black lens bracket. Blackbeard. Is that the person from the Sakura Kingdom incident? Kaya hugged Chopper and spoke weakly. The last time I met him on Winter Island, he was already an able person. However, Nami hesitated. Sister Nami, have you met that person? The one who took Kaido's ability. Blackbeard. What does it mean to be an ability person? The girl Alice asked in surprise. Well, I met it a few months ago. At that time, he already possessed the ability of the dark fruit of Logia. Although the current dragon is incredible, it should be his second ability. Robin spoke solemnly. What? Listen to Robin really say this shocking truth. Colonel Tina, Empress Hancock, Guillaume, and the others all cried out in shock. A person can only have one ability, shouldn't this be the iron rule of devil fruit? Tina exclaimed in disbelief. Same as Dad. Multiple capables. Vice Admiral Guillaume murmured unconsciously. Then he quickly turned his head to look at the Vice Admiral Crane beside him. Sister he, that. Guillaume paused halfway through his words. Because she found that at this moment, Vice Admiral Crane did not pay attention to the fact that the new double fruit ability was born. Her teeth nibbled at her thumb, and her beautiful eyes were always watching the invisible battle on the screen without blinking. There was even more worry on the pretty face, and even more suppressed anger. In decades that Guillaume had seen such an expression from the calm and wise Suru. That The mysterious masked swordsman, as expected. Shaki's voice was low. The words came to an abrupt end before he finished speaking. At the same time, Guion, Empress Hancock, and Vice Admiral Suru also raised their heads one after another, looking towards the sky. A little golden light fell like a meteor, constantly expanding in their pupils. What is that? It's coming towards us. What does he want to do? That huge thing is a sword. ... The little girls in the stands also discovered the golden light spot that fell from the sky one after another. Going great sword extending out from the spot of light, all the girls couldn't help holding their breaths. Hey, it's not good, it's not good, it's not good again. What the hell is that big sword? Is he trying to split this building apart? So dangerous. The big stomach girl on the rooftop, Jewelry Bonnie, exclaimed nervously. Shichibukai Tyrant Bear. Don't be afraid, Bonnie. The tyrant bear opened his mouth gently, his big gloved hand brushed on Bonnie's hair, and a little love flashed in his mechanical eyes. Next second, Tyrant Bear looked up at the going greatsword, which was less than 100 meters away from the headquarters building, and took off his gloves. In the blink of an eye, the Tyrant Bear disappeared. When it reappeared, it was already facing the going greatsword. You must win, daddy bastard. Jewelry Bonnie clenched his pink fist and secretly broke into a cold sweat. Boom, under the gaze of people's terrified eyes. Going sword that fell from the sky slammed down towards the headquarters building. I want to divide one into two. At the same time, Shichibukai Tyrant Bear opened his palm, revealing the meatball between his palms. With both hands up to the sky, they resisted the blade of the going great sword. In the base void, there are a lot of atmospheric ripples. After sinking 20 meters, Tyrant Bear's figure stopped. He blocked the fall of the going greatsword. Damn Big Bear, you brought this on your own to die for this old man. In the middle of the dazzling golden light, there was a roar of people. The light on the going greatsword became more and more dazzling. It was you. The Tyrant Bear spoke calmly. Pressing the atmosphere to keep his left hand in the air, he raised his left hand. Paramesha meatball fruit ability is fully open. Boom, under the full force of Tyrant Bear's rebound, Going's great sword was bounced high. Contrast, the body of the Tyrant Bear also fell heavily on the ground of the square under the reaction force, smashing a hole with a radius of 100 meters. The meatballs in both hands were also charred black. Bastard Big Bear, I see how you can do this time. The figure in the golden light shouted loudly and reorganized his posture. Gravity knife, tiger. The heavy swordsman Isho fell from the sky. The purple ferocious tiger rushed past. Going greatsword, which was solidified with energy. Kakaka, under the impact of Isho's full force of gravity knife, fine cracks appeared on the energy extension sword of going greatsword, and then burst. In that case, 108,000, sword. Jinguang. Everyone stopped drinking indifferently. Instant, the fragments of the going sword that exploded under the gravity knife turned into countless golden feather arrows. Each of them exudes a blazing dazzling light that can't be opened. The clusters of light were densely packed, covering the entire sky, shooting towards the direction of the headquarters building. Vowed to destroy it. Scatter. Headquarters building stand. Alternate Admiral Momoshige Gion jumped into the sky on the moon step. Sword Konpira in his hand is unsheathed, like a dazzling going galaxy. Countless gilded leaves scattered from the dazzling blade, accurately intercepting the feather arrows that filled the sky. Occasionally, the fish that slipped through the net will also be shot down by Empress Hancock's slave arrow and Suru's flying Shigan finger pistol. One or two, both come to hinder the old man, damn it. The man in the bright golden light roared. You are the damned ones. The remorse from 36 years ago, this old man doesn't want to endure it again. A roar full of anger and remorse suddenly sounded from the sky above. Take the call. Garp, S Iron Fist of Angry, Blast. Chapter 464 Garp Dry Gorose, 5 Elders. Mess. Open black lens bracket 4/4 for full order close black lens bracket. The Iron Fist is in the sky, falling like a meteor. Powerfully and domineeringly penetrated into the inside of the going light in the sky. Even if the body is blackened and stinged by the scorching energy. That pair of iron fists was still moving forward without the slightest retreat. Fly for me, you foolish bastard. Garp's angry roar resounded over the Waesung fortress. Covered with the most advanced armament, Haki fell on the face of the golden light. The power of the unparalleled Iron Fist exploded in an all-round way. Atmosphere and even the space made an overwhelmed clack at this moment. Asshole Garp. Another frantic roar sounded from the dazzling going light. Boom, followed by a loud bang. An unusual figure rushed out of the going light. It was one of the world's highest powers to be kicked away by Garp's wrathful Iron Fist. Look, Mr. Garp beat the man out. People in Waesung Square shouted excitedly. Until this time. They were finally able to see the intruder's true body. But when you actually see it. Immediately, there were ghostly shocked expressions on people's faces. 6 snow-white wings with divine light first caught people's eyes. Followed by that armor exuding silver-white light. Under the armor was a burly middle-aged man's body. The blonde Gorose, 5 Elders at this time are very different from the vicissitudes of middle-aged men seen in the past. The original neatly trimmed dark blonde short hair. It has already been replaced by a head of waist-length golden blonde hair. The roots of the hair are crystal clear and elegant, with a dazzling holy light. This is the great change brought about by Zone Human Fruit mythical model. Angel's ability is activated. What the hell is that sacred? How is that posture possible? How can there be such creatures in this world? Mr. Zephyr, do you know what the hell that is, do you? Recruit and the veterans in the square were all shocked and screamed. Is that an angel? How could there really be that kind of angel creature? Besides, even if it is an angel, why did it come down to target us? The big and small girls in the stands also shouted in an uproar. The girls who were in shock noticed Tsuru, who had always been calm, and now the anger in his eyes was about to overflow. Under the shocked and horrified eyes of people. In the sky, the golden-haired Gorose, 5 Elders, who was punched by Garp with a golden body protection, swayed with 6 wings behind him and stabilized his figure. Under the direct blow of Garp's Iron Fist, and it didn't take long for it to return to its original state. Kaido's phantom beasts and dragons should have the recovery and defense power, and naturally the blonde Gorose, 5 Elders who are also phantom beasts also have them. Blonde Gorose, 5 Elders are suspended in midair, motionless, like a god of angels overlooking the world, above all living beings. His eyes were indifferent, revealing a strong murderous intent. The sight went from the tyrant bear on the ground to Isho in the air, and finally fell on Garp. Garp, do you know who the old man is? Blonde Gorose, 5 Elders rant. The old man doesn't care who you are here today, the old man is the protector of this city, and anyone who comes with hostility is the old man's enemy. Garp roared without showing weakness, and waved a pair of iron fists again, causing the atmosphere to collapse. Does he really not know? Even if he was as dull as Garp, he wouldn't really be able to guess the identity of the person in front of him at this moment. It's just that 36 years ago, because of his slowness, that series of big events happened later. Make Garp regret it beyond measure. At that time, his inner self-blame and remorse were unparalleled. Now, 36 years later, he will not make the same mistake again. I don't want to suffer the same regret and pain again. Even the Gorose, 5 Elders, the highest power in the world, can't do it today, no matter who comes, do it. The armament Haki on Garp's pair of iron fists is like a real armor, smashing the blonde Gorose, 5 Elders. At the same time, heavy swordsman Isho's sword is unsheathed from his waist. There is something wrong with the teacher. The disciples obeyed. As a disciple, he certainly has the obligation and responsibility to protect the city under his feet. Boom boom boom, over Wei Sung. The melee between the hero Garp, the heavy swordsman Isho and the blonde Gorosei, 5 elders begins. Taiku venue. The Whitebeard Pirates 1-2. Team Captain, Phoenix Marco, Fire Fist Ace, etc. The 5-person battle against Blackbeard in the form of the Black Dragon continues. Shichibukai Moria commanded the zombie army to fight for revenge against the defeated beasts. Broken Jedi venue. The contestants who recovered from the shock once again smashed the fruit of the Overlord and launched a series of fierce competitions. The sound of bang 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 shelled into pieces one after another, and the war continued. That's Marine's Buster Call. The dense rain of cannonballs covered the sky and covered the sun, covering the islands of the venues. Even the spectator island where reporters and spectators were located was within the area that Admiral Akainu ordered to attack. Of Watchung was plunged into an unprecedented chaos, with war and gunpowder everywhere. Most chaotic and fierce confrontation began. The atmosphere is gradually moving towards the final high court. Chapter 465 Shred Gorosei, 5 elders. Open black lens bracket 1/4 for full order close black lens bracket. Swish, swords, lights, swords and shadows are intertwined. Blood splattered and dyed the sky. Hoo, sword-wielding warrior Gorosei, 5 elders revealed. Under the repeated confrontation, the mask on his face was full of cracks. Physical strength was also greatly consumed, and he was panting heavily. On his body, his clothes were tattered, and fine bloodstains were clearly visible. The other hand, Luo Lin could not see the slightest wound on his body except. In fact, even if there is a wound, with Luo Lin's current constitution, it will completely heal itself in no time. Comparing the two, nature is more clear. Damn. Sword-wielding warrior Lao Xing's eyes were gloomy, and his face was gloomy as if water was about to drip. The current situation is completely different from what they had discussed in the Holy Land. In their original plan. Whether it is the twisted dark horse, the old man, the swing dancer, or the 2 big 4 emperors Charlotte Linlin and Kaido of the Beasts, they are all their pawns. Roland's stamina was greatly consumed by them in the front. Wait until all of them are defeated. That's when it's their turn to show up. Things have been going smoothly so far. The moment when the 4 emperors Lot Linlin was defeated, the sword-wielding warrior Gorosei, 5 elders appeared and took over the battlefield. Relying on his extreme speed ability to drag Roland. He even left wounds on his body more than once. On the other hand, the blonde Gorosei, 5 elders are responsible for the frontal assault. Destroying the city he built in front of Roland's eyes was a major blow. Just kill Roland right here. This kind of thing, the world's highest power Gorosei, 5 elders have not even thought about it. The purpose of their trip is to suppress Luo Lin's spirit and spirit. By the way, get the crushed fruit. That is their greatest victory. However, the plan has come to a screeching halt here. Halfway through the sky, a Garp came out. The identity of the blonde Gorosei, 5 elders, he still waved his iron fist without hesitation. In addition to the heavy swordsman Isho and other strong men who are coveting them. The situation facing the blonde Gorosei, 5 elders is not much better than his. In this case, let alone destroying Wei Sung, it would be difficult to even escape. That Garp, he wanted to turn against the non-samurai Gorosei, 5 elders, swearing in a low voice. My brother, you are ignorant and sometimes dull. If you don't report your family background, how does he know who you are? Rollins laughed sarcastically. If that's the case, then put all of you on the kill list. Samurai Gorosei, 5 elders spoke coldly. Shu, in his hands, the evil spirit that belonged to the first generation of the supreme swordsman, Guido, was fully released. There seems to be a gloomy scene of hell in the sky. Countless ghosts are stirring. At the same time, it was accompanied by a creepy ghost cry. It is like the scene of the 18th hell. Give me death. Samurai Gorosei, 5 elders snorted. The first generation of the supreme sword, the first generation of ghosts, slashed out. The bewitching purple-black knife light with a terrifying hell scene suppressed Luo Lin. Hu, Luo Lin breathed out a dragon-shaped column of air between his nose and mouth. A splendid ray of light lit up on the blade of Hei Dao Chu Shui. Everything is a sword. Luo Lin made this blow for the 3rd time today. The first sword, he defeated Mahak, the world's largest swordsman. The second sword, he broke open the steel balloon-like body of the 4th Emperor Charlotte Linlin, broke the myth, and almost killed him. Now this is the 3rd sword. Atmosphere, space, and even the world are split under the blade of autumn water. Not to mention that it was a blow from the samurai Lao Xing's demon sword, and it collapsed when touched. That strange phantom image like the 18th floor of Senluo Hell was instantly strangled by the incomparable sword light, into nothingness. PFF'd, a dull sound of flesh cracking sounded. A bright flower of blood splashed in the sky. You remember me. Sword-wielding warrior Gorosei, 5 elders finally threw a harsh word and walked away. At the same time, the sky near Weisung Fortress. The 3-person melee between Garp, Isho and the blonde angel star also came to an abrupt end. Under Garp and Isho's desperate struggle, Rao is blessed with the amazing ability of a magical beast, and the blonde angel Lao Xing was completely beaten, and his heart was even more annoyed. Remember this to this old man, and I will settle it with you in the future. Just like the sword-wielding warrior Lao Xing, the blonde angel Lao Xing finally said a cruel word. The angel's 6 wings slammed violently behind him, bringing up a raging gust of wind, and it went away in an instant. It's just a moment's effort. The old blonde star came over the broken Jedi arena. The island, the chaotic battle for the crushed fruit continues. Under the siege and interception of the strong from all sides, the crystal box with the fruit was naturally out of Usopp's hands. Alternately in the hands of the major powerhouses. The stalemate was instantly broken with the appearance of the old blonde star. Behind the blonde old star, 6 wings fanned. In an instant, the ground shook, the tornado raged, and the wind and clouds changed. In front of the top powerhouses in the sea, even the powerhouses in the sea who advanced to the 2nd round of the conference are not enough to watch. Successful. The blonde angel Lao Xing raised his hand and grabbed the treasure chest that was swept up by the wind, with a proud smile on his face. Oh, that's really congratulations. A voice with a faint sarcasm sounded behind the blonde angel old star without warning. Hearing that familiar hateful voice, the blonde angel Lao Xing couldn't help but suddenly change his face. Behind him, the angel's 6 wings instantly lit up with a dazzling light. However, before he could act, a pair of big hands fell on his angel wings. Kyla, blood stains the sky. Chapter 466_end. Buggy are the biggest winner. Open black lens bracket 2/4 close black lens bracket. Ah ah ah. Cries of anger and pain resounded through the sea. From the blonde angel old star. Blood spurted out from behind him. Blood stained the sky. The angel behind him changed from 6 wings to 4 wings. There were also 2 wings that appeared between Luo Lin's hands. In the previous moment, Roland's hands grabbed his angel wings, tearing them apart. Old man, my things are not so easy to handle. Roland threw the angel's wings into the sea at will, and spoke in a cold voice. Ah! The blonde angel Lao Xing shouted, and the 4 wings behind him suddenly incited. Of the power of the 4 elements of earth, fire and feng shui, which changes the color of the heaven and earth. You bastard, do you want to die? The blonde angel Lao Xing shouted angrily. There is a lot of power in the words. However, his actions are very inconsistent with his words. Of turning his back to Roland and not looking back was not at all like he was preparing to fight. Instead, it's more like escaping. The power of the wings of the phantom beast angel filled the air, driving the gust of wind, and the body carrying the old angel star went away in an instant. As far as speed is concerned, it is truly remarkable. It's just, after all, it's still faster than Roland's space replacement ability. Shoo, 1,000 miles at a glance. The wind whistled past the ears of the blonde old star. There was also a faint voice. It's rare to come here, don't leave in such a hurry. You bastard, Wait, blonde angel old star reacts. The pain struck again. The blood dyed the sky red again. The remaining angel wings behind him were torn off again, leaving only the last 2 wings. It's so deceiving. Encountered with such a humiliation, the blonde old star is going crazy, with all the golden hair on his head standing upside down, dancing wildly in the wind. Don't be so excited, it's just grilling your wings. Roland was disillusioned. In an instant, he appeared in front of the blonde angel Lao Sheng, and his right hand clasped his left wrist. You! The blonde angel Lao Sheng was instantly furious. Just about to freak out. However, in the next second, the anger on his face turned into horror. His left wrist, which was clasped by Roland's palm, suddenly lit up with a dazzling white light. Poochie, blood splattered. Immediately after, the sharp white light spread along the arm and moved up. Increasingly dense. How could the blonde old star, who had almost died under this kind of power, not know what the painful experience of 36 years was merged with the current experience, and finally turned into fear, swallowing his body and mind? Ah! The blonde Garose, 5 elders screamed and struggled for fear. He wanted to escape, but he couldn't get rid of Luo Lin's restraint. Under Luo Lin's unparalleled smashing power, even the defensive power and recovery power of his phantom beast angel's body could not hinder him in the slightest. He could only watch helplessly as the shattering force devoured his arm little by little and spread to his whole body. King! Just when the crushing force just passed over the shoulders of the blonde old star, ready to spread to his heart. The void suddenly twisted. A strange blade suddenly pierced through the space. Slashed with a knife. It's not a cut to Roland. The blade of the first generation of the Supreme Kuaisho sword fell on the blonde old star's shoulder, cutting off his entire left arm shoulder to shoulder. Go! Samurai Garose, 5 elders roared loudly, and the speed fruit ability was fully activated, and the blonde Garose, 5 elders, who had lost their souls, escaped in an instant. Huh! Roland chuckled lightly. The footsteps moved again and again. The end, he didn't pursue it, although he really wanted to take this opportunity to kill the 2 of them first, but that Samurai Garose, 5 elders, speed fruit ability is truly unparalleled in the world. Even Luo Lin, who has mastered the space ability, would have to spend a lot of effort to pursue him. In the end, it may not be possible to really catch up. In addition, Luo Lin was also a little worried about Wei Sung. If this is still the government's plan to move the tiger away from the mountain. While he was chasing, the hidden power of the world government once again launched a surprise attack on Wei Sung. Even with Garp, Zephyr, Isho and others sitting in town, Roland was still a little worried. Let's end today's greetings for now. Wei Sung Sea Area. The showdown between the world's top combat powers has come to an end. The smashing fruit competition at the Broken Jedi venue also came to an end because of the disappearance of the treasure chest. However, the chaos did not stop. Because the Marine Buster Call headed by Admiral Akainu is still going on. Bang 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 bang, countless intensive artillery fire shrouded the islands of the venue. Meteor volcano. Admiral Akainu's ultimate burst for the first time. The magma rain, which was 10 times more terrifying than the shells, fell down. Like extinction. Captain Buggy, get on board. Rarely brave and loyal, Buggy braved the artillery fire to come to the rescue. You guys are so good, you almost thought you were going to die. Buggy, carrying a large bag of going treasure, was moved to tears. Buggy people on the boat were also excited. But not because of Buggy, but because of the big bag of going treasures behind him. Captain Buggy, the treasure on your back seems to be mixed with one. Tamer Moji's sharp eyes noticed a certain crystal chest mixed in the open treasure bag. He could finish speaking. One shell fell from the sky and exploded beside their boat. The people on the boat were so frightened that they screamed. "Don't talk about it, just drive the boat and run away." Buggy exclaimed. "Yes. Everyone should drink. But Captain Buggy, where are we going? How can they compare to Marine's war-class warships with their little wrecks?" Thinking of this, everyone in Buggy couldn't help but face ashes and despair. "Go to that city." Buggy's eyes shone brightly as if he had caught a life-saving straw. "Which city is that?" "Of course it's the Watchung, idiots, I have someone there, hurry up and move." "Yes. ... Chapter 467 Suru. Come to my room at night. Open black lens bracket 3/4 close black lens bracket. Bang 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 bang, was the sound of countless shells falling like rain. Boom 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 boom, is the roar of the shelled islands and sea. Where the marine buster call goes, everything is destroyed. Even the fierce warriors of the New World, under the raging of dozens of marine war-class warships, are completely powerless to fight back. The roar of the shells was mixed with the screams of the pirates. Form a tragic movement of blood and fire. This tragic scene is. The soldiers in Watchung Square shuddered when they saw it, not to mention the little girls. At this moment, the grandstand of Waesung headquarters building. From a distance, I looked at the scene that was happening near the sea, which was like a world-destroying scene. Nami, Vivi, Kaya and other little girls all turned pale. Especially Robin, who had personally experienced similar incidents, his delicate body couldn't stop trembling. "Miss Robin." Koala clasped Robin's sweaty, slender hand tightly, trying to give it a little warmth and comfort. "I am all right." Robin shook his head, a reluctant smile twitched at the corner of his mouth. "Really, that, Admiral Akainu, what the hell is going on?" The girl Alice muttered in dissatisfaction. "Unauthorized sabotage of the conference held by Brother Rolling, unauthorized to make Brother Rolling the culprit, and now they even come to our door. It's really deceiving." Nami also waved her little pink fist angrily. "That is to say, I saw that he even fired at the two islands for the reporters and the audience to watch the battle. It was too much. Did he really go crazy?" Vivi had an incredible expression on his face. "Sister Crane, Sister Gion, can you treat him?" Nami looked at Gion and Suru expectantly. "He's Admiral, let alone us, not even Mr. Sengoku." Gion shrugged helplessly. "After all, he is indeed carrying out justice, now." Even Vice Admiral Crane shook his head helplessly. "Hi. It's so annoying." Both Nami and Vivi were outraged. "Everyone else is fine. My concubine is so worried. How is Lord Luo Lin now? Is he hungry, not thirsty, and has no injuries on his body? Will he be in a hard fight now?" Empress Hancock stood on the edge of the stand, looking up at the sky with a worried look on her face. Everyone. "Ah, Lord Roland is back." At this moment, Perona, who also looked up at the sky, seemed to see something, and suddenly screamed in surprise. Where is Brother Rolling back? Where is Dad now?" Nami, Vivi, Gion and others all drink it in an emergency. Swish, the next second. High-rise grandstand void Vivi rippling. Roland's figure appeared out of thin air. "Rolingo. Tutor. Dad. Lord Roland." All the girls, big and small, were the first to gather around. The worry on Zhang Chao's face disappeared, and the joy was beyond words. "Rolling, how are you? Is there any? Where are you injured? What about the physical condition? I'll help Brother Luo to check right away." All the little girls used their hands and feet to give Luo Lin a meticulous and comprehensive physical examination on the spot. "See you." Shaki decisively turned around and went out. Colonel Tina's pretty face flushed red, and she quickly raised her slender hands to cover her cheeks. However, the gap between her fingers that did not cover her vision at all revealed her true inner thoughts. There are times when the legendary heroes are cramped. You can't miss this exciting scene. Tina couldn't help thinking. Cluck. Looking at the rare panic on Luo Lin's face. Guillaume couldn't help laughing. Her beautiful eyes gleamed, as if she wanted to help her. Cough cough, 2 coughing sounds sounded, and the movements of the little girls couldn't help but stagnate. The only natural person with such majesty in the field is Suru. What kind of formality in broad daylight? Suru reprimanded, feigning anger. Hey hey hey. Nami, Vivi and other little girls are all scolding Isho. Suru moved gently, walked straight to Luo Lin, and looked up and down. I'm really fine, it's the 2 old guys who are the problem. Roland grinned confidently. Isho. Suru nodded. It's true that there is no wound on the surface, but if there is anything wrong, we still need to do a thorough inspection and come to my room at night. Suru is serious. Roland. Nami, Vivi, Koala and other little girls, alas. How come? Empress Hancock fell to the ground with a broken heart. Do you have any questions? Suru frowned slightly. No problem. Looking at the harmonious scene in the field, Luo Lin couldn't help but smile. If it was before, Suru would never have been so kindly teasing the little girls who were supposed to be rivals in love. The teasing at this moment, showing the majesty of the main palace again and again, it was Suru who accepted the performance of Vivi and the others. The ending of Shira Field and Hatchet should have a high probability that it will not happen to me. Thinking of this, Luo Lin couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief. At the same time, Wei Sung Overseas Battlefield. Dense, obscuring cannon rain lasted for a full hour before finally stopping. The island of the ring venue for the first round of the convention and the Jedi venue for the second round sank. The turbulent sea regained its calm. The clouds dissipated, and the sun fell. Peace of mind. Quiet and beautiful. It's over. Chapter 468. Capture the 2 imperial groups of beasts and aunts. Open black lens bracket 4/4 order close black lens bracket. It's over. Woo. Finally, it's over. ... The sea about 30 nautical miles south of Wei Sung. 2 large pirate ships with traces of war running side by side. The left-hand side, the ship is full of candy cake shapes, and the pirate flag with heavy makeup and bright makeup on the mast is naturally the mothership of the 4 emperors, the King Mother Anthem. Because the 4 emperors Charlotte Linlin was seriously injured and fell into a coma, the singing ship that had been infused with soul life was also silent at the moment. In parallel with it, on the right-hand side, even the pirate flag is a large ship that was burned down, and it is the Dragon King ship of the Beast Pirates. Compared to the Thief's mothership, the current state of the Dragon King ship is even more miserable. Traces of artillery fire can be seen everywhere on the sturdy hull. Several cooling volcanic rocks, steaming hot, were embedded on the deck. That's the meteor volcano lava rain by Admiral Akainu. Almost pierced through the Dragon King ship of the beasts. To escape from the siege of Admiral Akainu, the 2 emperors also paid a huge price, and the loss of personnel is unknown. If this expedition is fully counted, the loss is immeasurable. The 4 emperor thieves are fine. At least their main general, the 4 emperors Charlotte Linlin, was still alive and was salvaged from the vast sea by them. Although he is still in a coma with serious injuries, he is barely able to survive. In comparison, the beast pirates on the other side are even more miserable. Their leader, Kaido of the Beasts, the invincible captain of the 4 emperors, was so cold that even the body could not be retrieved. Don't say it's a corpse. Not long after Kaido of the Beasts died, his greatest biological power was taken by an inexplicable being. The man even threatened to be their new captain. This feeling, not to mention how frustrating it is. Depression, dullness, dead silence, etc. The negative atmosphere is shrouded in the 2 queen ships. For a long time. On the ship of the Dragon King, the plague queen sniffled and stood up. I told you, all of us who have successfully escaped with such expressions, what we should do now is celebrate. This is the pirates. The plague queen spoke. Queen. Dumb queen. Queen stupid. Bastard, I kindly want to encourage you guys. Queen is annoyed. Mr. Queen, but now. Life is dead. How can you make us happy? Peggy Wan shook her head in disappointment and panic. Then how can you be in this sea? Anyone can die. Kaido is dead, don't we have to live? It is at this time that we can't be affected by other emotions. Now that we're really safe, it's not certain that Marine's mad red dog is not necessarily when he will catch up. We must always be prepared. Queen of the epidemic is righteous, and she speaks righteously. An impassioned speech made all the beast pirates who were in a depressed mood lifted their expressions. So much chatter, idiot queen, what are you trying to do? The poisonous-tongued sister Uluti asked. My idea is very simple. Now that Mr. Kaido is no longer, we can't be without a leader. Someone must carry the banner of our beasts, so I propose that I temporarily serve as the temporary captain of the beasts pirates. Queen of Epidemic raised her arms and shouted, finally revealing the true purpose of the previous tirade. Who agrees, who disagrees? The Pandemic Queen glanced across the ship. All the beasts, ordinary fighters, and even real fighters, were silent. Looks like it's been decided, so. The Plague Queen grinned Isho, just about to announce. I object. Just before the Queen's unilateral announcement of the epidemic, Uluti took a sudden step and said loudly. I don't agree either. The giant 6 sons of Black Maria follow up. Although I unilaterally announced my withdrawal from 100 Beasts, if I can run for the position of captain, I unilaterally announce that I will join. Firstbird grinned Isho. Me too. Fishman Sasaki follows up. According to the order, Yamato is the first candidate for the captain's successor. If Yamato is absent, it is also Mr. Jin's first choice. Peggy Wan grumbled softly. The atmosphere on the ship of the King of Beasts and Dragons instantly became tense. Now that there is no absolute king, Kaido of the Beasts, this mixed, beastly emperor may fall apart at any time. Ha ha ha. At this moment, a loud laugh sounded from the adjacent pirate mothership. As soon as the captain died, he was busy fighting for power. It's a shame. Perospero sneered. It seems that your beast pirates are about to become history. Without Kaido, there is no need for us to form an alliance with you. Charlotte Oven speaks. Come back. Charlotte Daifuku rolled her eyes, as if thinking of something. Hey, fellow beasts, are you interested in joining our thieves and becoming our subordinates? My mother will definitely treat you well. Daifuku smiled treacherously. Asshole. What did you say? Are you underestimating us? Don't even think about it. The beasts and pirates on the Dragon King's ship shouted one after another. Don't be noisy, just be quiet for me. Finally, Fire Calamity, who had always remained silent, spoke. But not because of the quarrel, but because of the sea. The sea where the 2 gigantic pirate ships were located suddenly trembled violently without warning. What happened? What's wrong with this? Under the sea, there seems to be something on the sea surface. A huge thing, is it a sea king? Feeling the sudden tremor of the sea, all the royal cadres screamed in shock, no longer the complacent they had during the previous quarrel. No. Not a sea king. This is a small island. Boom, in the screams of the beasts and the emperor pirates. The huge island broke out of the sea, taking 2 broken pirate ships and the royal officers on board into the sky. Gia ha 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 ha, beasts and little devils, welcome to heaven. ... Chapter 469 The Grudge Between the Gorosei, 5 Elders and the Hero. Open black lens bracket 1/4 for subscription close black lens bracket. Waisung Sea area. The sound of continuous artillery fire gradually subsided. The turbulent sea gradually returned to calm. Buster Call, which assembled 17 war-class warships from Marine, is over. 11 miles away from Waesung Fortress. A castle ship pulled by a giant sea snail is quietly moored above the sea. 6 are inscribed on the walls of the castle. Representing them as Germa 66. Not long ago, under the shelling of Marine's stormy buster call. Germa 66 can be safe and sound, relying on the identity of the country that is a member of the world government. Even Admiral Akainu is not so crazy that they are indiscriminately obliterated even as member countries. Father, it seems that Marine's buster call is over. Beau of Germa 66, Reiju in a pink dress tried to open her mouth. It's too early to say it's over. Vinsmoke Judge with a special mustache spoke calmly. Reiju pursed her pink lips and looked at the giant marine warships on the sea not far away. Her eyelids jumped. That Admiral Akainu wouldn't be really crazy enough to want to do something to that Waesung, that city that belongs to heroes. Reiju murmured in shock unconsciously. It's not impossible. I've heard rumors about Admiral Akainu. He's a real ruthless man, even more ruthless than a pirate. Judge said solemnly. Even so, Father, should we continue to watch? Taking advantage of this opportunity, if we can stand on the side of Waesung and help stop that Admiral, we will definitely be able to add a lot of points to that hero's heart. Reiju suggested. Ha ha ha, what are you worried about, Reiju? If you can't even settle this trivial matter, what qualifications do you have to cooperate with us, Germa? Reiju, you are so anxious, you do-ain't like that. Hero, ha ha ha. IG, Niji, and Forgive Green 3 all laughed wildly. 3 idiots. Reiju's face darkened slightly. Red lips parted slightly, but finally he just shook his head. After all, it is her father who is qualified to make a decision here. She has already said everything she needs to say. In fact, Judge agreed with Reiju's proposal in his heart. After all, this is also an opportunity to show goodwill to Waesung and make amends. It was only after such a shocking change that Judge had to reassess his risk of letting Germa join the hero. Not long ago after all. After the defeat of the two sea emperors one after another, the two people who appeared to attack the hero and Waesung are very likely to exist in the Holy Land. The highest power in the world, Gorosei, 5 elders. Others may not know. Judge, who has participated in many world conferences and has been in close contact with Gorosei, 5 elders, is very clear. Even though those two can hide their true colors. But there's nothing wrong with that intimidating breath. As the supreme power of the world government, the Gorosei 5 elders, who are at the top, actually went down the Holy Land and came here. And launch a surprise attack on that hero who has made great contributions to the world. How can you really think about this kind of thing? Hero and the Gorosei 5 elders, and the world government turned out to be hostile. There must be some unknown secret hidden in it. Perhaps it is related to the mystery of the disappearance of heroes 36 years ago. At this moment, Judge's heart was numb. The Gorosei 5 elders are involved. He has to reconsider the possible consequences of his next move. If he really uses Waesung and the hero as his backing, it may mean that he will be the enemy of the world government. If the hero loses in the end, then let's not talk about unifying North Blue and restoring Germa's former glory. The only way that awaits them is to be completely obliterated by the government. The representative is too large, so it needs to be more cautious. Oh, that, Admiral Akainu, are you really going to do it? Reiju, who has always been paying attention to the movement of the warship, exclaimed in shock. The calm sea of Crash Lala suddenly gave rise to violent waves. It was Marine's 17 war-class warships breaking through the sea. One after another, they stopped not far from the gateway island of Wachung. Tattoo, the dark muzzle turned. Lock on the pirate ships hiding in the Waesung portal. Death Surgeon Trafalgar Law led Heart Pirates, Magician Hawkins Pirates, Fallen Marine Rear Admiral Drake Pirates, Rogue Knights Pirates, Leeching Pirates, Cavendish led Handsome Pirates, Hapo Navy and more. Not long ago, when Marine's Buster Call was launched, the major pirate groups that were defeated in the first round of the conference all got on board and ran away immediately. Taking advantage of the Marine's siege net, plus the cover of the top battlefield of the sea, he hastily escaped. In the end, of course, the powerful contestants who advanced to the second round and their respective pirate groups. It was just that when they wanted to retreat and escape, the Marine's Buster Call encirclement network had already formed. In that desperate situation, the actions of the buggy pirates pointed out the last way for them. I don't know if it was intentional or not. There's a huge gap in Marine's net. That's Wei Sung. Chapter 470 Slap in the Face Admiral Akainu Open Black Lens Bracket 2/4 for Subscription Close Black Lens Bracket. Wei Sung Huge Gateway Island Offshore. 17 Marine War Class Warships, like one. Another prehistoric beast lined up in a row. Centered on the warship where Admiral Akainu was, left and right, 3 each, 7 warships in total had their guns pointed in the same direction. Those are the pirates hiding on the other side of the gate. The swarthy muzzle carries a terrifying oppressive force, which makes the pirates in the door palpitate. That Admiral Akainu really intend to kill them all. We are really going to die this time. The Buggy gang wailed. Buggy, who thought it was safe and was complacent, was also dumbfounded. Immediately, he looked annoyed at the other pirate groups around him. It's all your fault. If you didn't hide behind this uncle, then can Admiral keep an eye on this place? It's all right, we're all done playing together. Buggy snarled angrily. The pirate captains such as Buggy, Trafalgar Law, Cavendish, etc. did not pay any attention to. Captain, there's really no way out now. Are we really finished? White Bear Beppo said with a panicked expression. No. Trafalgar Law took a deep breath and shook his head firmly. I am still not dead today. Magician Hawkins affirmed. Scarecrow, is your divination accurate? The pirate noble's son Cavendish questioned. Since we are allowed to set foot in this sea area and enter this portal, it is enough to explain everything. Drake spoke calmly. There was no trace of fear on his face. After all, even if the situation really went to the worst, he could still have a showdown. That Kaido of the Beasts is dead, there is no need for him to exist as an undercover marine who is ready to break into the beasts. The undercover program was halted halfway through. Things have developed to this point. That city, the hero will definitely not sit idly by. Qinzhao, the pillar of Hapo Navy, opened his mouth with a kind, amiable old man's appearance, which was completely different from his previous crazy appearance. This is naturally due to the recovery of his cone head. Dressrosa arena battle in the original plot. In the smashing fruit battle not long ago, Qinzhao, who was wearing a straw hat Luffy, was hit in the forehead by Luffy's third-gear armament gun. And so the cone, flattened by Garp's iron fist, bounced out again. The cone dragon and cone nail reappeared, and the resentment in Qinzhao's heart that lasted for more than 20 years was also dissipated. Tada! Just after Qinzhao's voice fell. Suddenly there was a sound of footsteps in the sky. Look at the sky. Someone shouted. The people inside the door all agreed and raised their heads. Look, it's Teacher Zephyr and the others. The black-haired swordsman Lucio shouted in surprise. Great, Mr. Zephyr and the others are finally here. Now it's all right, Dad, everyone, you can relax, ha ha ha. The long-nosed Usopp opened his mouth with ease. Great, the people from Wei Sung have finally arrived. This time even Admiral Akainu has to weigh the consequences. Bastard Admiral, he didn't even spare our spectators' island before. When I go back this time, I must arrange for him. By the artillery fire of Buster Call, the reporters who were transferred to the 2 Gateway Islands also breathed a sigh of relief and spoke indignantly. Under the eyes of people with joy. Led by the former Admiral Black Arm Zephyr, a total of 50 veterans formed a formation in the air and landed on the portal island on the moon step. Call. A heavy exhalation sounded. Those are the four giants in charge of the goal. Before Marine's warship was approaching, even the brave giant warriors, the two captains of the giant pirates, Dory and Brigitte, couldn't help but panic. Their strongest combination technique, Elbaf's gun, Hakoku can at most deal with a warship. If these 17 warships were pressed together, it would be impossible to defend. Looks like you can breathe a sigh of relief, Gaba Baba. Yeah, gaga gaga. The two giants looked at Isho. Tattoo follows Zephyr's line. Neat footsteps echoed in the sky again. Those were the current marine generals headed by Admiral Akainu. Including Yamakaji, Doberman, Onagumo, Stoloberg, Dalmesia, Bastius and Maynard, 7 Marine Vice Admiral. More Rear Admiral and Colonels. Teacher Zephyr. Mr. Alfred. Dean Vice Admiral. Sir. Followed by Vice Admiral, Rear Admiral and the Colonels shouted in unison. To Zephyr, Alfred and other veterans. After all, those old people were once their teachers, elders, and officers. Teacher Zephyr. Admiral Akainu grinned Isho, his eyes fixed on Zephyr. Zephyr snorted coldly, naturally not giving Akainu a good look. Mr. Zephyr, I haven't seen you for a few months. I can't believe that you have changed so much, teacher. Admiral Akainu took off the marine hat on his head and touched his small flat head. Akainu, what do you mean? Zephyr's eyes narrowed at Vivi. Mr. Zephyr, and all of you Alfred, I want to ask you where the justice is in your heart. Pirates are right in front of you. Instead of not arresting them, you want to shelter them. Are you in the same boat? Admiral Akainu shouted, his words fierce and sharp. Without saying a word, he put a big hat on the Zephyr crowd. What did you say? Hearing Akainu's accusations, all the veterans couldn't help but get angry. Akainu. Akainu Admiral. Admiral, you are going too far. A group of Marine generals also spoke in succession. It's too true, but if you want me to apologize, then go and kill those pirates. Admiral Akainu grinned. Asshole. The old man Mulien looked gloomy and was about to step forward, but was stopped by Zephyr raising his hand. Zephyr. Mullen was puzzled. Here he is. Zephyr spoke calmly. Clap. Just as Zephyr's voice fell, a crisp and loud slap suddenly sounded in the field. A big hand was born out of thin air without warning, and had a close contact with Admiral Akainu's smug smile. Chapter 471. Akainu is furious. One more slap. Open black lens bracket 3/4 for subscription. Close black lens bracket. Clap. A slap. Crisp and loud. Abrupt and sudden. No defense at all. Just when Admiral Akainu was arrogant, he gave Zephyr and other veterans big hats in the name of righteousness. A big hand came out without warning. With Admiral Akainu's defiant, sarcastic smile. This slap patted Kaido of the beasts not long ago. Now even Admiral Akainu, who is the most powerful in the Marine headquarters, is not much better. Under the amazing power contained in this slap, the defenseless Admiral Akainu's body was pulled up like a spinning top. Volleying for 2 weeks, after 720,720 degrees, he finally half knelt on the ground. This sudden scene made everyone present stunned. After a while, Mr. Akainu. Akainu Admiral. Mr. Admiral. All the generals and schools on the island came back to their senses and couldn't help but exclaimed one after another. What is it? Vice Admiral Doberman's face was cold. Which bastard? Vice Admiral Onagumo took a deep breath, and his long, thick hair arched like spider legs. But the next second, after seeing the whole picture of the person who came out of thin air after the big hand, Doberman and Onagumo's two major headquarters, Vice Admiral, were dumbfounded for a moment, and their tensed bodies froze and didn't move. Hero. It's the hero Mr. Roland. Mr. Roland. Mr. Roland has appeared. Dalmesia, Bastius and other Vice Admiral and more generals exclaimed subconsciously. All faces were filled with expressions of surprise, excitement and admiration. Hero Roland. It's the hero Roland. The reporters on the island also cheered and shouted in unison. The strobe light flashed all of a sudden and kept on flickering. When the news of Roland's appearance spread, both inside and outside the island portal are plunged into a boiling ocean. And excited emotions quickly occupy people's body and mind, so that people even ignore the amazing incident of Admiral Akainu being slapped with a slap. Of course, Admiral, who was the person who was beaten in the face, was naturally not at all excited in his heart. There was only anger that almost overflowed from his eyes. Asshole! Admiral Akainu got up slowly. The scorching magma flow dripped from his body and spread. Turn the lush island lands to scorched earth. The temperature between heaven and earth also increases with the appearance of magma. Akainu, calm down. Doberman's face was horrified, and he hurriedly shouted to remind him. I'm calm. Admiral Akainu stared at Roland indifferently. When he noticed the horrible magma spreading from Admiral Akainu, the smiles on people's faces froze from seeing Roland up close. Under the staring eyes of people, Luo Lin took a step and walked straight to the place where the terrifying heat was steaming from the magma. The expression on his face was always calm. Finally, something that shocked everyone happened. Roland's footsteps were not in a hurry, and he stepped into the horrible magma of Akainu. Chi-chi, Roland's shoes were burnt by the lava in an instant. Hero. No, Mr. Roland. That's lava. The sailors on the warship, the generals and the reporters on the island all shouted in shock. However, the next moment, a shocking scene happened again. Who was walking barefoot in the scorching lava, was not damaged in the slightest. His footsteps are still steady. The scorching magma that was enough to melt an ordinary person's face and bones, was like ordinary warm water to Luo Lin. No lethality at all. It just doesn't make sense. But, the man in front of them now, who defeated the two great alliances of the four emperors with their own power, were not ordinary people. Amazing. This is a hero. People are amazed. Ha ha ha, this is our boss. Magma is completely useless. Before, the boss of my family took the lava bath directly. The veterans also shouted with excitement. Listening to the heroic past narrated by the veterans, people's hearts were shocked even more. After all, taking a bath with lava is too appalling. In front of me was unbelievable. Even Admiral Akainu, who was the magma itself. In his magma at this moment, he couldn't help but feel astonished. The whole person was shocked to the point of incomprehensible. The previous slap is to let you know what it means to respect the teacher and respect the Tao. You are not qualified to instruct my brothers to do things. Roland stood about a meter away from Admiral Akainu and spoke calmly. At the same time, the right hand is slowly raised. Looking at Roland's raised slap again, Admiral Akainu's pupils contracted suddenly. A strong sense of foreboding suddenly appeared in his heart. What else do you want to do? Admiral Akainu gave a loud roar. A big wave of his hand, a wall of scorching magma rushed up from the ground and stopped between the two of them. However, it was still unable to stop Roland's slap from falling. Roland's big hand penetrated the magma wall unscathed and landed on Admiral Akainu's swollen left face again. The pop is as crisp and loud as ever. Chapter 472. Admiral can't be humiliated. Pumping Akainu. Open black lens bracket 4/4 for subscription. Close black lens bracket. Clap, again. Still crisp and loud. Under the shocked gaze of people, Luo Lin's big hand went straight through the barrier of the magma wall, and once again came into intimate contact with Admiral Akainu's face. Another 720,720-degree volley rotation. Admiral Akainu fell to the ground, splashing a large amount of scorching lava. Marine generals who were approaching in shock couldn't help but retreat. Pain. Burning pain. Heartbreaking pain. Even with the elementalization of Logia magma fruit's ability, under Roland's extremely armed slap, it can't achieve the slightest evasion effect. Still got hit. Feeling the pain that seemed to go straight to the soul, the expression on Admiral Akainu's face gradually distorted, and the blue veins on his forehead throbbed wildly. Swollen high after being slapped twice in succession, as if a whole steamed bun was stuffed in his mouth. What pissed Admiral Akainu's lungs the most was Luo Lin's involuntary slap. Even once. Came here for the second time. And he was still unable to defend himself, and was still spun and flew up. He is the highest fighting force in the Marine headquarters, Admiral Akainu. He was slapped in the face of all the people, it was like stepping on his face directly. I lost all face, Admiral Akainu said in my heart an angry growl. Again and again, no. Again and again. Even if you are a hero, you have to pay for it. The expression on Admiral Akainu's face gradually became cold and cruel. Just when he was thinking about this, the sharp sound of breaking wind suddenly sounded in his ears again. Oh oh oh. Wow ah ah. In the screams of people one after another. Roland's big hand appeared next to Akainu's big face again without warning, and slammed it down. The terrifying power of bang erupted, knocking Admiral Akainu onto the magma ground and tumbling one after another. The previous second palm was for the 20,000 sailors of those two warships. Why did they abandon them? Why did they not make any effort at all? Roland's broken drink resounded through the sky, deafening. Listen to Roland talking about something not long ago. All the sailors on the warship shook their bodies in unison. As for the two warships and sailors who were the parties, their eyes were already red, and they only felt a surge of excitement. They are not dispensable cannon fodder. Even if Admiral abandons them. And heroes. Heroes always remember them. This third palm, I want to ask you, why did you order to fire on those two audience islands? Roland took another step and asked a question. Listening to Luo Lin's deafening question again. The reporters and audience who were transferred to the portal island were taken aback for a moment. Until it is confirmed that Luo Lin is holding an injustice for them, when he comes forward. The cheers burst into the sky. Heroes are mighty. Mr. Roland, thank you. Admiral Akainu, can you finally reflect on yourself now? We're not pirates. Reporters from all over the world shouted with pride. Enough. A loud shout full of anger sounded. Most of Admiral Akainu's body is elemental. The hot magma boils at this moment. It released a heat that was 10 times more terrifying than before. From the beginning. It was his plan to make Weisung the only hole in the Buster Call, forcing the remaining pirates to hide in it. To occupy the commanding heights of justice when confronting Wachung and Luo Lin. Use this to attack Wachung. Admiral Akainu's plan, giving the hero a disservice, embarrassing Roland, and being caught in a dilemma is just incidental. Hidden people in Weisung. Golden Lion Shiki, the flying pirate who disappeared for 20 years, the remnants of the Roger pirates, and Nico Robin, the son of the demon O'Hara who has just appeared in the eyes of the world. It's just that the plan can't keep up with the changes. Don't wait for him to make these demands. When Rollins appeared, he couldn't even say a word, he just received 3 heavy slaps in succession. His left cheek was swollen like a hill, and was almost smashed to pieces. Wave after wave of pain hit his cranial nerves. Coupled with the humiliation of being slapped in the face one after another in public. All of this made him almost vomit blood. Bastard, Admiral can't be humiliated. Admiral Akainu's eyes were cold. There was the slightest hesitation or scruples, and decisive and tyrannical shots were taken. Dark Hound. Akainu let out a loud roar. The completely magmazed right arm penetrated the atmosphere and fell towards Luo Lin's chest with unparalleled destructive power. Of attack power, Magma Fruit is definitely at the forefront among many Logia. Through the development and display of Admiral Akainu, the attack power is unparalleled and can be called the strongest in the original plot. With this move Dark Hound, Akainu directly evaporated half of Whitebeard's face. You can see how high his attack is. Now, Akainu's furious dark hound bursts. Even if there is a big mountain in front of it, it will definitely be penetrated. However, when the magma dark hound, which is said to be the most powerful, met Luo Lin's body, an unexpected change occurred. Like drops of water falling. Dark hound that was enough to penetrate the mountain fell on Luo Lin, but it splashed like water droplets. Still can't hurt Roland in the slightest. Under the shocking gazes of the people in the field, Admiral Akainu's stunned and horrified gazes. Luo Lin broke through the terrifying magma flow and strode forward. The right hand covered with the ultimate armament raised high again, and then fell. Crack. This is for O'Hara 20 years ago. Crack. This is for. Clap 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 clap. ... Chapter 473 Admiral Akainu was stunned. Open black lens bracket 1/4 for full order close black lens bracket. Clap 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 clap. The crisp and loud slaps broke into pieces one after another. Play a rhythmic piece. However, no one in the room could appreciate the rhythm. At this moment, everyone who witnessed this scene was deeply immersed in extreme shocking emotions. Every face is full of incredible and unbelievable colors. You must know that the person who has been slapped unilaterally now is one of the highest combat powers of the Marine Headquarters, Admiral Akainu. Being eligible to rank as the Admiral of the Marine Headquarters is enough to show the strength of Akainu. He is definitely one of the powerhouses standing at the top of the sea. Even compared to the 4 emperors, it's not too much. No, underscore. In terms of attack power alone, he is the head of the 3 admiral, even above the Sea Emperor, thanks to the increase of Logia magma fruit. But that's what exists. At this moment, Luo Lin pressed him to the ground to educate. There's no power to fight back. This scene is horrific and unbelievable. After all, before that, whether it was the 4 emperors Charlotte Linlin or Kaido of the Beasts, both have had a fierce battle with Luo Lin that will overturn the world. But now, what kind of grandfather is teaching grandson? Both are the world's top powerhouses. Why is the gap so big? Could it be that Admiral Akainu was shy about being a hero, so he didn't fight back? Not right. This kind of thing is impossible. Even ordinary people could clearly feel how tyrannical the counterattack of Admiral Akainu, who had been hammered on the ground, was. That's definitely going all out. Just Akainu's terrifying magma onslaught that can burn ordinary people to ashes 100 times. It didn't hurt or itch at all when it fell on Roland. Admiral Akainu's high explosive, high damage magma ultimate move, which Admiral Akainu is proud of, can't do any damage to Luo Lin. Fully immune to Roland's body. This is the root cause of this farce happening now. Mr. Zephyr, this is too strong. Although I also think that Akainu is not pleasing to the eye, no matter what, his strength is real. All the veterans couldn't help but be amazed. It's not surprising that Kid Akainu's magma ability is indeed very strong, but unfortunately this time he met his nemesis. The old man Mu Lien smiled happily. Do you think the fact that the boss used to swim and take a bath in the magma was just bragging? That's all real. The former Vice Admiral Alfred grinned and said, so the old man has already said that what you get by relying on the fruit's power is only false power. The scene is over, do you understand now Akainu? Zephyr shouted. I%. Admiral Akainu has been unable to respond to Zephyr's hard-hearted education. At this moment, he had already fallen under Roland's stormy slap combo. And deformed by Roland's big hand. Even the teeth are falling out, mixed with blood flying out. Then it was burned to ashes by its own high-temperature magma. What happened to him now was like a dream to Akainu. It's never been a nightmare. Unheard of in this world that there are people who are completely immune to magma. And after losing the high eruption and high damage of the magma, his armament fist, for Roland's tough body, is even more painless. It's totally unplayable. Roland finally stopped after he didn't know how many times he hit hard. At this moment, Admiral Akainu has lost his arrogant performance at first. His head was swollen like a pig's head, and his eyes were staring straight into the stars, and he felt that the world was spinning. The whole person fell into a state of complete confusion. Akainu kid, do you think that if you become an admiral, no one can cure you, what I said just now? Did you hear it? Roland asked. Woo. Admiral Akainu let out a meaningless hum. If you hear it, then go back and reflect on it. Roland waved his hand. Admiral Akainu's swaying body flew upside down, and finally fell heavily on the deck of the warship. After a while, the people in the room came back to their senses from this extreme shock. Akainu. Mr. Akainu. Vice Admiral Doberman and Onagumo turned pale, and stepped back to the warship on the moon step to check the situation. And you? Roland's eyes fell on the Marines on the island, and then spread to all the sailors on the warship. Sensing the sight from Roland, from Vice Admiral, down to ordinary soldiers, all of them could not help but stand up straight. If you don't mind, you can stay and have a drink later. Of course, if it's really inconvenient, you don't have to force it. Roland grinned. Hearing the invitation from Roland, all the Marines present were stunned. Immediately, there was a thunderous cheer. Want. Please let me in. The sailors, especially the sailors of the two warships rescued by Luo Lin, were excited and shouted excitedly. Chapter 474 Conqueror Luck is Terrifying, 2 quarters for subscription. Like a prehistoric beast passed through the Gateway Island, brushed the side of a group of refuge pirate ships, and finally moored down the coast of Weisung. 4 ships belonging to Garp, Gion, Momanga and Suru in the harbor. A total of 21 Marine top warships guard the Weisung fortress. This scene is magnificent. At first glance, those who didn't know it thought this was the Marine headquarters base. Tisk tisk. It's really spectacular. Is this the Marine headquarters? This is also worth reporting. The reporters on the Portal Arch Bridge couldn't help but press their shutters to record this magnificent scene. A long while, the last giant beast warship sailed past and arrived at Watchung. The tensed heartstrings of the 20 or so pirates who hid in the door were finally relieved. Finally, is it over? It's really scary. The Marine Division warships we have encountered in the past can't be compared to it. When we encounter such a beast at sea, with our broken ship, we will definitely lose the naval battle. It's okay. Pirates have lingering fears, and their faces are full of fear. Captain Buggy, we survived. Buggy Pirate, who is quite inconspicuous among the big pirates, spoke excitedly. To live is to live, but... Buggy's eyes widened. But if you want to leave, I'm afraid it's not that easy. Trafalgar Law said solemnly. Boom! A breath as vast as the sea suddenly descended, and the heartstrings of all the pirates who were relaxed were instantly tense. A look of astonishment appeared on his face unconsciously, and he looked up at the people in the air. Hero Roland, what else are you doing? If the conference is over, we can go now. The pirates who were incomparably strong on weekdays are now all shrinking their heads and opening their mouths weakly. Ha ha ha. Mu Lien laughed, stepped on the moon step and crossed Roland, and came directly above the pirate group. The little devils of the new era, can you come and leave when you want to come and go when we want to be here? Mu Lien spoke, viciously. What does this mean? Are you going to shoot us contestants? The pirates asked in horror. Contestants, at least not now. If you are outside, we can't control it, but this is the boundary of our Watchung. Here, Marine can't move you, but trespasses into our territory without authorization. If you want to leave, you have to pay some price. Later, everyone will line up over there and come to me to receive your tasks. Mu Lien grinned. So it is. I'll just say, how can a hero protect the pirates? Yes, It turns out that keeping them has other functions. The reporters suddenly cheered. When Mulian announced their fate to the pirates, Roland stepped out and came to the Waesung battleship that was destroyed by Garp. That guy Garp, destroying other people's warships without authorization, this can't be ignored. Luo Lin whispered to himself, and the corners of his mouth raised an arc. On the other side, seeing Luo Lin coming, Sabo, Usopp, Sanji, Xiaofeng and other young people on the battleship who represented Watchung in battle were all excited. Tutor. Boss. ... I've seen your activity, and they done a good job. Roland smiled. A nod to the Battle of Sabo et al. Hearing the compliments from Roland, the young people on the dilapidated battleship were all excited. However, the excitement only lasted for a moment and then stopped abruptly. I am so sorry, Mentor, we lost our important crushed fruit. Sabo bowed solemnly and apologized. I'm sorry, boss, it's all because of me, I should hold it more firmly. Usopp also bowed in apology. We are also responsible for this. I'm sorry, disappointing expectations. Are happy, you will share it together. No one shirks responsibility. Rollins was also very pleased with this. It's just a mere devil fruit, don't worry about the little things. Roland grinned. But, where did the crushed fruit go at that time in Marine's Buster Call masterpiece? The whole sea is a mess. More blonde angel Gorosei, 5 elders shot, making the scene even more chaotic. However, the blonde angel Lao Xing only held it for a moment, and his wings were broken by Luo Lin who arrived later. The crystal box containing the crushed fruit was thrown out and fell into the battlefield raging by the storm. The situation after that, because Luo Lin chased down the Gorosei, 5 elders, is not very clear. Could it be that the crushed fruit has already sunk into the sea along with the island? The crushed fruit is here. Luo Lin closed his eyes and tried to resonate with his own crushing ability. After a while, Roland suddenly opened his eyes. His eyes fell on the buggy pirates not far away, and the corners of Vivi's mouth twitched. This is the luck of the conqueror and it's so terrifying. Chapter 475 Buggy, I'm a Legend 3/4. Waesung Gateway Island. When Mulian announced to the more than 20 pirates who had taken refuge, the price they needed to pay for leaving, or the task they needed to complete, the roar of the pirates instantly became a film. Captain Buggy, how should this be? The so-called mission is actually asking us to hunt those in the sea. Well-known dark forces and big pirates. We can't do it, we absolutely can't do it. It's like sending death. Otherwise, let's pretend to agree first, find a place to hide for a few years after we leave, and come out to enjoy life after the wind has passed. But, in this case, we will be included in the hunt list by Waesung, or we will die. Everyone from the buggy pirates spoke up. More analysis, the more despair on his face. However, compared to the wailing of his subordinates, the expression on Buggy's face was still as calm as ever from beginning to end. Even with a subtle, confident smile. It's reassuring. Captain Buggy, it's time for you to say something. It's over, Captain Buggy won't be scared stupid. Ouch, woohoo. Trainer Moji, Chief of Staff Kabaji, Lion Leech, howling, in Buggy's ear. Noisy. Buggy finally responded. 1 or 2 noisy, what's all the fuss about? Buggy took out his ears with a relaxed expression, and said casually. Everyone who heard Buggy was stunned. It's over, Captain Buggy is crazy. Captain Buggy. The crowd wailed. Everyone shut up. Buggy snorted angrily. I have a showdown, I will stop pretending. It's time to reveal the true identity of this uncle. Buggy confident Isho. With that mysterious appearance, everyone who was stunned was stunned. Even Trafalgar Law, Drake and the others who were not far away could not help but look sideways, wondering what kind of plane this stupid-looking red nose was planning to fly. Under the stares of people's puzzled eyes, Buggy walked to the bow of the pirate ship and looked at the old man Mulian in midair. "Mr. Mullen!" Buggy shouted loudly. "Wow ah ah! Captain Buggy, you are crazy. Don't attract attention." Everyone in Buggy was shocked. I wanted to stop it, but it was too late. Because Mulien in the sky has already noticed them. After a while, in the Buggy pirates watched in horror. Mulien stepped on the moon step and came to them. "You are..." Looking at the familiar red nose in front of him, Mulien couldn't help but be stunned. "It's me, I'm a minibus. Mr. Mulien, don't you remember me?" Buggy greeted with a happy face. Buggy. Listening to Buggy's self-introduction, coupled with the familiar red nose, Mulien finally remembered that the person in front of him was his junior. One of the trainee crew members of the Roger Pirates, Buggy. "Ha ha ha ha, no wonder I've been looking at your kid a little familiar from the beginning. It turns out that it's your kid, Buggy, you are still alive." Mulien laughed. Hey, Mr. Mulien, long time no see, I really want to kill me." Buggy came forward familiarly, hugged Mulien, and began to get close. Watch this scene. Buggy's younger brothers were all stunned. Hawkins and others on the nearby boat were also startled. "Captain Buggy, this is... Are our Captain Buggy and that Wei Sung high-ranking acquaintances? Could it be that Captain Buggy was also Marine before?" Trainer Moji murmured unconsciously. "How could Captain Buggy be Marine?" Chief of Staff Kabaji denied. "That funny red nose, could it be one of the legends?" Drake was stunned. "It's a bit surprising. I thought he was a funny character." Cavendish rants. "Captain Luo, that red-nosed Buggy, he..." "Ah." Trafalgar Law nodded. "If the red nose and that. If Mulien was really a partner before, there is only one answer, even if it is a legendary ship, there is." The old man remembers. Hapo Navy Pillar Chinjao looked suddenly. "Father, what do you remember?" "That red-nosed kid, he was indeed a member of the Roger Pirates." Chinjao of Cone opened his mouth and revealed the shock truth. Wow, the whole audience was in an uproar. Even the reporters on the Portal Arch Bridge were alarmed. That the big red nose that looks stupid, turns out to be one of the legends. Tisk, it's unbelievable. Clown Buggy, he's also a crew member of One Piece, King of Pirates. The reporters were amazed. Feel the surprised eyes from all sides. Buggy couldn't help holding his head high, his back straight. Because this is his highlight moment. It is also an important reliance for him to escape. "Mr. Mulien, come here, I found a lot of treasure just now, just take whatever you want." Buggy proudly pulled over the huge treasure bag. "Buggy, are you trying to bribe me?" Mulien narrowed his eyes, finally knowing the purpose of this slippery boy. "Hee, how can it be a bribe?" Buggy hey isho. Reaching into the treasure bag with both hands, he took out one piece of going treasure and stuffed it into Mulien's hands. Among them is a crystal treasure chest. Crash la la, going treasure fell on the deck. Hey, Buggy." Old Mulien's face was full of shock and disbelief. "What's the matter, Mr. Mulien?" Buggy is still aware of it from hindsight. "It's not bad for you, kid. You snatched this thing quietly. It's not bad, you didn't lose our face, ha 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 ha." "Mr. Mulien, what do you mean?" Buggy opened his mouth in confusion. The words stopped abruptly. Familiar crystal treasure box that he stuffed into Mulien's hands, and the fruit in the box. Gah. Buggy, people are stupid. Chapter 476 Buggy. I don't have you. Don't talk nonsense, 4/4. Ha ha ha, Buggy, you really hide it. It's amazing that you snatched the ultimate treasure without making a sound, and no one has found it. Not bad, we didn't lose our Roger Pirates. The face of the group. Muley N continued to pat Buggy on the shoulder and laugh loudly. Gah! Hearing the compliments from Muley N, Buggy was not happy at all. At this moment, looking at the crystal treasure chest in Muley N's hands, the crystal chest pulled out of the bag by his hands, Buggy is completely stupid. When did this ghost run into his treasure pile and die, and he even exposed it in front of everyone's eyes? This is a disaster. Buggy is crying in his heart. Captain, look there. That thing didn't sink into the sea with the island. Polar Bear Beppo pointed emotionally. Ah, you don't have to shout so loudly, I have seen it. Trafalgar Law's eyes narrowed at Vivi. A blue circle appears in the palm of the right hand. As long as the surgical space is expanded, he can grab the treasure chest with a single thought. It's just, Trafalgar Law sighed, and finally didn't put it into practice. After all, the martial arts conference has really come to an end this time. That red nose, when did you get it? Drake whispered. It's unbelievable, the winner is the hilarious red nose. The crowd at Hapo Navy shook their heads in disbelief. Wow, I am really not reconciled. The pirate noble son Cavendish shouted unwillingly. This is really put together, the clown Buggy, it's been years since I haven't seen it. The captain of the first team of the Whitebeard pirates shook his head with emotion. Marco, that Buggy, East Blue, Buggy, is he really a member of the Roger Pirates too? Ace's eyes widened, his face full of disbelief. Ah, at that time, I was Dad's intern, and that red nose and red hair, it was Roger's intern, and we even faced each other. Marco recalled. Lying. Trough, that Buggy still has. Wait, Marco, the red hair you mentioned earlier, is it? Red hair Shanks. Ace exclaimed. Apart from that red hair, who else in this sea is qualified to have this title? Marco rode. Ha ha ha, it turned out to be Buggy. It's really nostalgic. The other side of the wrecked battleship, Usopp couldn't help laughing. Usopp, Buggy with the red nose, could it be the boss? Readaloud looked surprised. That's Shanks, former teenage playmate who was an intern. 20 years ago, before Shanks and I left East Blue, I met him once. 20 years later, he's still alive. Usopp rode. Go. Listening to his father's narration, Usopp's eyes jumped out of his sockets in shock. As a native of East Blue, Usopp is very familiar with the big pirates in East Blue. Buggy's 17 million bounty is just average. However, behind this general bounty, there is still such an important identity hidden. It's really astounding. Could it be that from the very beginning, that red-nosed Buggy has always been showing the enemy to be weak, pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger? The black-haired boy Lucio guessed. There is a possibility. After all, he is also a legend about the two old masters Mulien and Samble on the same boat. Fishman Young Nobel agrees. I really underestimated him. Crocodile looks bad. Sure enough, none of the legendary pirates in the past were mediocre. Hexia Jinbei sighed. Is that really? Sabo is skeptical. The bounty is 17 million berry. The clown Buggy, I thought it was just a little-known character. It seems that we underestimated him. Yeah, just being a member of the Roger Pirates is enough to double his bounty more than tenfold. In addition to this strength, in the melee of many strong men, he quietly captured the last treasure. He really has been disguise. Of course, after all, he is also one of the legendary team. He is the ultimate dark horse of this conference. Archbridge, a group of reporters who did not know the truth also started a series of brain supplements without authorization. The flash flickers uninterruptedly. As if to report on Buggy, the hidden conference, ultimate dark horse. Listening to the sighs and brain-filling compliments from everyone around, Buggy is not happy at all. I'm not, don't talk nonsense. Don't make up your mind without authorization. Bastards. I really don't know when this thing got into my pocket. Buggy let out a roar of collapse in his heart. Chapter 477 Iron Fist of Love. Zorro is gone. Open black lens bracket 1/4 for subscription close black lens bracket. Waisung Gateway near the sea. With the disappearance of the final prize of the General Assembly reappears. The atmosphere in the room suddenly became tense again. The eyes of the 20 or so pirates who gathered to take refuge here all fell on Buggy. There are shocks, puzzles, and desire for treasure chests. Although because of the presence of Luo Lin, no one dared to act rashly in this sea area. But it is conceivable that when they leave this sea area, it is impossible for everyone to be silent. It has nothing to do with martial arts tournaments. It's just a simple fight between pirates. For this, Buggy itself is naturally more clear. Up to now, he really doesn't want this overlord-level fruit that everyone wants. Having participated in the second round of the conference by accident, he originally thought only of surviving. In the end, I didn't think about it, but I found the treasure by mistake. So he wanted to survive and make a small fortune by the way. I never thought about it, Xiaosai just made a fortune. The fortune came along with him. It's just that this big fortune is simply a disaster for a weak chicken like him. Eating it by himself is not courting death. He is not stupid, he is already a capable person, and another one will directly die. It won't work for a certain little brother on the boat either. In the future, who will be the boss of the ship is not certain. It is a good opportunity to make a fortune if it is auctioned outside. But that has to be life-threatening. Those around, tigers and wolves, which one beats him as if he were beaten by his grandson. Think again and again. Buggy took a deep breath and seemed to have made a decision. Mr. Mu Lien, I haven't seen you for many years. This thing is regarded as a gift from me to honor you. Buggy gritted his teeth, and under the stunned expression of people watching, he generously gave this invaluable overlord fruit to Mu Lien. Ah! Listening to Buggy's decision, the little Buggy pirates who were eager to eat the fruit and turn themselves into masters were all dumbfounded. The other pirate captains around also gritted their teeth secretly, saying that they were not good. Ha ha! Mu Lien, who was generously gifted by Buggy, couldn't help but be taken aback. Ha ha ha, Buggy, you really have a heart, but you don't have to. As a senior, how can I ask for something from a junior? Mullen refused. Oh, don't bother, Mr. Lien, you're not a capable person. I'm all ready, so you can accept it. If you're really sorry, you can just cover us in the future. Buggy is in a hurry. Ha ha ha, Buggy boy, don't be afraid, no one dares to kill you in the city's boundaries. Seeing Buggy's intentions, Mu Lien explained. But, Buggy wanted to say something more. Shoo, in the next second, a person appeared out of thin air on the deck. Looking at the sudden arrival of the big man, everyone in Buggy held their breath in unison, not even daring to breathe. Do you have any comments on the final prize I set up for the conference? Roland smiled and looked at Buggy kindly. Yes, no opinion. Buggy stood up straight in fright. Where can I dare to give any superfluous opinions? If you don't have an opinion, that's fine. Roland nodded with a smile, he also wanted to see how powerful Buggy's conqueror luck was. Then, let's go back. Okay, boss. The opening of Waisung City and the end of the world-class martial arts conference. Although there were many changes along the way, the result was a complete success. One of the biggest gains is the defeat of the 2 sea emperors in the New World. The 4 emperors Kaido of the beasts died, Lot Linlin fell into the sea, and his life and death are unknown. After this battle, the demise of the beast pirates is a foregone conclusion. As for thieves, their vitality is also severely damaged, and they cannot become a climate. The second half of the Great Route, the rest are only the 4 emperors Whitebeard and red-haired Shanks. Admittedly, these two are much scarier than Kaido and But so what if they have the strongest hero in the world? Heroes are invincible. Hooray! Oh! The sailors gathered at the Waesung Banquet Plaza were in high spirits. Now that the hero reappears, this chaotic era of great pirates will surely come to an end. The sailors believed this in their hearts. With the participation of more than 100,000 sailors on the warship, the huge Watchung Square is finally no longer so empty. Of Waesung also cheered loudly in unison. The atmosphere is warm. Brothers, cheers! Youth with the Vitality straw hat raised a glass in his left hand, and held a big Flesh and Blood in his right hand, and shouted excitedly. Kakaka! Suddenly, there was a sour creak in his ear. It was the sound of a person's palm and fingers. That's Marine's other hero, Vice Admiral Garp. Old man, you. What do you want to do? Ace asked nervously. It's a good day, let it go. Sabo also twitched the corners of his mouth. Vitality straw hat is even less vitality, and the upper and lower rows of teeth are chattering. Luffy, what kind of king did you say you wanted to be when you were on that island? Garp asked with a kind and amiable face. One Piece king of pirates, I'm sure. The youth in the Vitality straw hat bit his head and shouted. Oh! The crowd groaned inwardly. Bang, bang 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 bang, damn old man, why even beat me? Father, don't slap people in the face. Ace and Sabo are also passively involved in Garp's iron fist of love. Who were beaten again, everyone around them unconsciously picked up their teeth and couldn't bear to look directly. Speaking of which, do you guys feel like we're missing someone? Sanji frowned and reminded. Ha, Sanji, what less? Usopp lived. It seems really. Frankie pondered. Zoro. The crowd shouted in unison. Chapter 478 The Marine Headquarters shakes. Kuzan's request. Open black lens bracket 2/4 close black lens bracket. Where's Zoro? Where the hell did Zoro go? How could it disappear? It's not disappearing, it seems that I haven't seen him since the second round of the conference. Until Sanji reminded me. The talents finally recovered from their joy and noticed the disappearance of an important partner in their small team. It's not good, it's not good, it's not good. Luffy, Zoro is gone. Usopp screamed anxiously. Is Nani Zoro gone? Luffy's eyes widened in shock as he turned into a pig's head under the iron fist of Garp's love. That, 3 swordsmen, Marco, I remember. Ace, who was also wearing a pig's head, looked at Marco. Sorry. Marco spread his hands apologetically. I forgot to tell you just now. I searched almost every island for fragments, but I couldn't find the swordsman. Marco shook his head. Hey, what the hell is going on? Is Zoro already? Shut up, Usopp, how could Zoro die so easily? Pig-headed straw hat boy stopped drinking, interrupting Usopp's pessimistic speculation. Everyone, don't worry, I'll ask. The third pig-headed boy Sabo immediately got up and walked to Luo Lin and others not far away. Seeing that Sabo, the most likable among the students, was transformed into such a tragic state, the veterans squinted at Garp. PFF ha, I am sorry, we just beat up together. Garp said carelessly. Sabo. But the top priority now is tutor. Sabo, you're here to ask Zoro. Yes, mentor, Zoro, is he all right? Sabo nodded nervously. No big deal. Roland waved his hand casually, signaling everyone to feel at ease. Then Zoro Sabo was just about to ask. But he saw that Roland had summoned a remote control. Press on the big screen that you pressed down. Chi-chi, a few snowflakes drifted by. A picture is displayed on the big screen. That's a kilometer high. That collapsed in the fierce battle between Roland and the 4 emperors still had a small area left, floating alone in the sky. That is the underground labyrinth area of the venue. After a while, the screen changed. A close-up view of the inside of the labyrinth from a distant view from the outside. Tattoo, rapid footsteps sounded. The three swordsmen with green algae head appeared in People's, Zoro. It's Zoro. Zoro is alive. Great. It scared me to death. See Zoro come alive. Luffy, Sanji, Usopp and the others all breathed a sigh of relief. But, what is Zoro doing? Fishman young Nobel asked inexplicably. Zoro, maybe he's still lost. The black-haired swordsman Lucio opened his mouth tentatively. The crowd was stunned. Then they all nodded. This plausible conjecture was confirmed. Everyone looked at each other, and then, ha 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 ha. Schadenfreude echoed through the square. Anyway, as long as people are okay and alive, then everything is fine. As for the labyrinth problem Zoro is currently facing, that can only be overcome by himself. At this moment. Kilometer-high Sky Island underground labyrinth area. Damn, what the hell is going on in this place? Why do I feel like I've been to this place and more than once? I've been here too. Where the hell is the exit? Green algae, Roronoa Zoro shouted in exasperation, only to feel troubled. Of course, if you let him know that his current labyrinth challenge is being broadcast live and watched by more than 100,000 people, I'm afraid it will be even more troublesome. Waisung Plaza. People's laughter continued. Same. The real marine headquarters, far away on the other side of the ocean, is also caught in a boiling ocean of cheers. Before the news reports of various newspapers around the world were published, the marine headquarters had already learned of the major and minor matters that occurred in this sea area through the reports of the Buster Call Unit. When the four emperors Kaido of the Beasts and Lot Linlin were defeated one after another, they were suppressed by the hero Roland. The sailors who stayed at the headquarters couldn't help shouting excitedly. I just felt the blood in my body was boiling. I can't wait to fly to the battlefield immediately and witness the shocking scene with my own eyes. At the same time. Marine Headquarters Building, Marshal's Office. Okay, well done. After receiving the report, Marshal Sengoku, who learned the news of the defeat of the four emperors, was also excited and applauded. As expected of Mr. Roland, he is really amazing. Admiral Kuzan, who was playing soy sauce in the Marshal's office, exclaimed with emotion. With the strength of one person, against two sea emperors, it is really the strongest. Marshal Sengoku nodded appreciatively. No, Mr. Sengoku, I'm talking about that guy Akainu being educated by Mr. Roland. Kuzan emphasized. Sengoku. This time, that guy Akainu really went too far. Sengoku nodded. If you have a fault, you will be punished, and if you have a merit, you will also be rewarded. Although Mr. Roland is not marine now, he has eliminated two major problems for the world. Should we express it? Chinjiao laughed. That's natural, Kaido of the Beasts, 4.6 billion, and the bounty won't be without him. Sengoku rode. Is it just that? Kuzan rubbed his hands together. That, I haven't decided whether to die or not, this bounty has to be held first, and then it will be given after it is confirmed. Sengoku said seriously. No. Kuzan waved his hand. Then what do you think? I would like to ask Mr. Sengoku to issue an order to release Saul, my friend, Mr. Roland's subordinate, who is imprisoned in the 6 levels of Impel Down. Kuzan spoke earnestly. What? Sengoku stood up suddenly. Mr. Sengoku, this secret can't be kept secret. I have already sent someone to deliver the letter to Waisung City. Rather than wait for Mr. Luo Lin to come to the door, we might as well take the initiative. Kuzan suggested. Kuzan, you bastard. ... Chapter 479 Gorosei, 5 elders are shocked. Open black lens bracket 3/4 for subscription close black lens bracket. Holy Land, Maria Joy. Whoosh, suddenly sounded in the sky. Atmospheric, void VV twist. In a blink of an eye, it was back to normal again. Only a little blood remained in the air, dripping slowly. This inconspicuous mutation did not cause much commotion in the pig-riddled Mariajoy. Only those, the government powerhouses who are secretly lurking and guarding the Holy Land can perceive one or two. Result, a look of astonishment appeared on his face invariably. Gorose, 5 elders are back. Wounded. At this moment. Holy site Mariajoy, the central area of the ancient city of Pan. A faint blood-colored rainbow crossed the sky and fell straight into the central luxurious white jade hall. Sensing the familiar fluctuations from the sky, the expressions of the 3 Gorose, 5 elders in the hall changed, and they quickly stood up to greet them. Come back. It doesn't matter if you fail, as long as people. We already know the details. Gorose, 5 elders, who also received the Marine War report, spoke up in succession. However, before the words were finished, they stopped abruptly. Vomiting sounded. The white marble floor was stained with blood. Hey, how did this happen? This kind of thing is not mentioned in the report. Why is this happening? When you see the embarrassed and seriously injured appearances of the sword-wielding warrior Lao Xing and the blonde angel Lao Xing. The other 3 Gorose, 5 elders who were on standby at the Holy Land were all shocked. In Marine's report, there was no emphasis on the 2 mysterious powerhouses who appeared at the end. Because the combat level is too high. It is impossible for ordinary sailors to see the doorway. In the end, it is only described by the word evenly matched. 3 Gorose, 5 elders were also bewildered by the reported word description. Thinking about their analysis, it's true. The samurai star can definitely hold back Luo Lin even if he can't win. The other side doesn't have any problem if he doesn't meet the blonde old star of Roland. Even if it fails in the end, it will never be too embarrassing. Just. After seeing the 2 returning partners with my own eyes. 3 Gorose, 5 elders were instantly horrified. This miserable situation is no longer a question of embarrassment or embarrassment. Things were more than 10 times worse than they had expected. Don't be stunned, get over it. The sword-wielding warrior Lao Xing gave the broken arm and broken wings to the other 3. He also fell to the ground as if he had lost his strength. His injury was not as serious as the old blonde star who was affected by the crushing force. It was not bad either. His physical strength has been exhausted because he used his extreme speed ability with all his strength and fled across half the sea with others. Waves of powerlessness and pain rushed through his mind. Hey, your condition is not good. How did you get this stab wound? The bald old star said anxiously. Samurai Lao Xing gritted his teeth and suppressed the pain. That bastard's sword is really getting sharper and sharper. I shouldn't be competing with him. He looked at the terrifying scar that almost slashed his body diagonally. The old warrior star couldn't help but be afraid for a while, and at the same time, he regretted it in his heart. I regret why I acted for a while. Brave, and finally I went to compare swords with that monster. He had already lost once 36 years ago. The world's greatest swordsman, his skills in kendo have reached the pinnacle. Gorose, 5 elders with aristocratic curls gritted their teeth. Don't worry about it now, it's destined to be a protracted game. With 800 years of history, why should we be afraid of a kid who has only been around for decades? The old star in the dark blue suit looked indifferent and proud. We just need to wait for the opportunity to defeat the fame and power he has built up. That's right, we are the real overlords of this sea. Mr. I.M. is the real king of the world. ... New World, Happy Street. The base camp of Stussy, the queen of the dark world known in the New World. It is also a paradise for men. Early in the morning, the king of loan sharks, Lufield, and the hidden master Giberson came in droves. To be annoying in advance. Celebrate the fall of Wei Sung Fortress. But it didn't take long for them to be happy. With the big event news report, big news came about the reappearance of the hero who defeated the Sea Lord Rocks. All the dark crocodiles were terrified. But at that time, there was still hope in their hearts. They believe that even the legendary marine heroes cannot resist the invincible alliance of the two sea emperors. However, the reality is to play a big joke with them. Their biggest backer, the invincible alliance of the four emperors in their hearts, was defeated. The four emperors Kaido of the Beasts and Lot Linlin were both defeated. This is simply a fantasy. Unacceptable. How can it be accepted? What a joke. I wouldn't believe such a thing. Luffield, the king of loan sharks, tore the newspaper in his hand to shreds. Conspiracy. It must be a conspiracy. The hysterical shouting of the organ dealer Jigula. I don't believe it. How could such a terrifying four emperors alliance lose? Of dark heavenly kings who could make the underground world tremble by stomping and stomping on weekdays are all insane at this moment, rolling around and showing their ugly faces. However, their pouting didn't last long, and they were deterred by the strong army of women in full armor. Stussy, what do you mean? Luffield, the king of loan sharks, glared at Stussy with bloodshot eyes. Clap. Stussy, known as the queen of the pleasure district, clapped her hands. This is the end of the fun, everyone, take them down. Stussy ordered. In the clanging sound of swords clashing, the guards of the dark crocodiles fell to the ground with all their blood. Since I received the above order, there is nothing I can do. Then let me meet you, Mr. Hero. Stussy Charming Isho. Chapter 480. The name of the hero resounds through the sea. Open black lens bracket 4/4 for subscription. Close black lens bracket. And promotion of News King Morgans and various newspapers around the world. One after another that happened in Waesung today, one after another, the super events that are enough to influence and even change the direction of the world spread all over the world in the shortest time. Result, the whole sea was like an 18th magnitude earthquake, and it was shaken again. Beyond the nickname, a super event happened. Win. It's a hero's victory. The hero Roland defeated the alliance of the four emperors and the four emperors and beasts pirates. The four emperors Kaido of the Beasts and four emperors Lot Linlin were beheaded by marine heroes 36 years ago. It's so good, it's so good. This is a hero, a real hero. The world is finally saved. I know, the hero Roland is still the same. Invincible hero. Pirates, tremble. Please end this chaotic era of great pirates, hero. Heroes are invincible, long live the heroes. East blue, south blue, west blue, north blue, the park in the first half of the Great Route and the New World in the second half. Countless countries, islands, cities, towns. The streets and alleys are all sung about the heroic achievements. The name of the hero Luo Lin, who had been silent 36 years ago, was once again circulated around the world. And sung by the world. This time, no one, no force can cover it up again. A new world, a kingdom of love and passion and toys. The kingdom of Dressrosa, the royal palace on the second floor of the royal capital. Who hold the lifeline of Dressrosa, still gathers in the palace hall. The atmosphere in the palace hall was unusually condensed and depressing. Either heavenly yaksha dofflamming of one of Shichibukai, or the officials of the Don Quixote family. Everyone was silent, nervous about the announcement of the event from the other side of the distant sea. 2 p.m. 2. Only after the Waesung event ended. Master, young master, it's out. The result is out. There was an anxious cry from the head of the Don Quixote family's intelligence department from outside the gate of the palace hall. So fast. It's only half a day, isn't it? How come so fast? Could it be that the hero has been defeated by the alliance of the four emperors in name only? The officials of the Don Quixote family in the main hall were all shocked and guessed in silence. No, cadres, a big event. A super big event happened. The four emperors Lot Linlin and four emperors Kaido of the Beasts were defeated by that hero alone. The head of the squad leader of the Family Intelligence Department shouted in surprise. What did you say? Stop kidding. Don Quixote's cadres unanimously widened their shocked eyes, and their voices increased by more than an octave. I don't believe it. Torapal, the top cadre of the Plum Blossom Army, shook his head again and again, raised his hand and threw out a sticky snot chain, grabbing the stack of report materials that the intelligence captain was holding in his arms. As the largest dark intermediary in the underground world, the information network of the Don Quixote family is also excellent. Only half an hour after the end of the major event, a detailed report of the whole process of the scene of the major event has been obtained. Much more than what the reporters reported. The large stack of data reports of Willala rustled from the sky like a goddess scattered flowers. The Don Quixote cadres, who still had extremely shocked expressions on their faces, raised their hands subconsciously to catch it. It turned out to be true. The myth of the four emperors Kaido of the beasts, immortality has been broken. The highest cadre of the Spades army, Pika, spoke with a sharp voice, and her expression changed in shock. That's Kaido who is immortal. He was beaten up by that hero. How powerful is that hero? Gladius, the fruit-exploding ability, cried out. It's not just Kaido of the beasts, four emperors. That Charlotte Linlin's indestructible golden body was also broken. The ton of fruit crusher Mahabe murmured in shock. He's still new, the world's greatest swordsman, even that Hawkeye is defeated. Senor Peak murmured in a deep voice. Unbelievable. Any of these things are too unbelievable. Hey, I can't be dreaming. It hurts. It's not a dream. Buffalo's body trembled uncontrollably with fear. This is the hero Roland, unparalleled power. Jorah murmured. His power is beyond the limits of human beings. Is he a god? Lao Lao, an old man from a previous era, sighed with emotion. Fur. Shichibukai Doflamingo, who had been silent on the throne, finally responded. He raised his head and laughed wildly. Dover, what are you laughing at? Torapal asked in confusion. Fur, I just saw something interesting. Fight, the next sea is your battleground. Doflamingo laughed wildly, but the expression on his face gradually distorted. Dover, what interesting things did you see? The top cadre Pika couldn't help but ask. Do you know the identities of the two mysterious powerhouses who appeared at the end? Doflamingo asked rhetorically. The last two. Is it also a remnant of the Ocean Overlord rocks? All the officers were confused. The remnants of the rocks are wrong. Those two are the highest powers in the world, Gorose, 5 elders. Fur. Doflamingo laughed. Quote exclamation mark quote. ...